I already called it once on my Instagram and on my Facebook, so I'm saying it again, but Dragon Ball Super Broly is probably already my favorite movie of 2019. Welcome back, guys. I just watched Dragon Ball Super Broly, and man, I cannot wait to talk about this film. And just a heads up, I'm going to include some spoilers because there's no way I can talk about this film without including anything from the film because it was that awesome. And if you haven't seen it already, then what are you waiting for? Especially if you love Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT, it don't matter. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, the fact that Broly's back on the screen, it's a must watch. On top of that, I got to experience this in a theater. So this one's directed by Toei Animation, which you can tell right off the bat. So if you guys remember the first Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan movie that was Dragon Ball Z, and then the Second Coming, and then Bio Broly, those don't really go in line with this one. They kind of go back and change the storyline, which I really like because this Broly movie compared to the first one in Dragon Ball Z totally changes up, and I really like what they do with the character because they give him an arc. They give you something that ties into this character, and they do such a great job developing his story because it's actually pretty interesting. You have Paragus, you have King Vegeta, the whole planet Vegeta involved, you have a younger version of Frieza and Cold, so you get to see a lot of different characters, which is pretty cool. You get to see a young Vegeta, a young Nappa, Raditz, you see Bardock and his wife. So I liked all the elements that they brought to the first part of the movie because to me there was just two parts. The first part was literally just storytelling, and then the second part, oh my god, it was straight up fighting and just entertainment to the fullest. The movie itself is all about Broly. You hardly even see Vegeta and Goku in the movie itself, not until maybe like they start fighting, and you know, obviously you get some glimpses with them with Beerus and Bulma and Wiz. And that's another thing about the film itself. Usually they include a shit ton of characters, but not this one. I like that it was so self-contained to a certain amount of characters because once the fighting starts, it's literally just Broly, Frieza, Vegeta, and Goku, and that's almost it. There are the inclusion of some of Frieza's henchmen, and two in particular that become kind of close to Broly, and I really like that relationship because it brings out something different from this character. Like from the beginning of the movie, you could tell that they're using CG for some of the spaceships and for some of the animation. And honestly, I would say that the animation in this movie is probably the best I've seen from Dragon Ball Super. I still like the Dragon Ball Z animation more than Dragon Ball Super because there are times where they change it up. Like in this one, when they're talking a lot, you can tell that the animation is not up there compared to some of the fighting sequences. Obviously, they're gonna up the ante on the fighting sequences because they need to be top notch. And I'll get into that in a little bit because it's amazing. I do love the inclusion of Bardock and Vegeta because they give us a whole background as to what happened and what led up to Frieza blowing up Planet Vegeta. And it was great. Like I don't think I've seen great storytelling like this in a while in a Dragon Ball movie. Usually we get a Dragon Ball movie which is kind of just like all fun, giggles. Obviously Goku's just trying to fight whoever comes his way. Vegeta, you know, being stubborn, you know, he's been more like Vegeta's always kind of like the secondary character, and it didn't feel like that one. In this one, Vegeta gets a lot of on-screen time, and there was one moment which was very surprising. A lot of people like their faces just dropped. Spoiler again, and that's when he turns Super Saiyan Red, which was freaking awesome because I was just like, whoa, hold up, when did he learn that? And I don't know if I missed something, but that was a pretty epic moment. But I did like seeing Bardock because you get to see kind of like Goku's family values and how they passed on to him, even though Goku's kind of like more, I don't know how to call him, but he's a very interesting character because he doesn't do things that normal people would do. And also they changed it up from the first Broly movie, the legendary Super Saiyan movie where Broly hated Kakarot. And this one is kind of the opposite. You have Paragus who wants revenge on Vegeta, and he wants to take it out on the Prince Vegeta. So that's why Broly kind of goes after Vegeta in the first fighting sequence, and that's a big turn because I remember in the first one it was all about Kakarot, but in this one it was mostly about Vegeta and how his dad threw them to this desolated planet where like freaking crab creatures exist, and I felt bad. I really felt bad for Broly. Like I actually was cheering for him. And it was funny because Broly only learned training from his father, so the whole time he was learning as he was fighting, so that was pretty cool. And at the same time I was kind of cheering for Broly. Like, I was like, oh my god, I can't wait for him to turn Super Saiyan. Let's just get into the action part because honestly, the action in this movie was non-stop. Usually in Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, it takes them like 5 hours or something to like just complete one fight. And this one, no, they just like once the fight starts, it doesn't stop until the very end, and I mean literally till the very end. And it's great because I've never seen a Dragon Ball movie where the fighting is non-stop. You have Broly versus Vegeta, Broly versus Goku, Broly versus Frieza, which is really hilarious. And then you have the inclusion of Piccolo. And this is a major spoiler here, so if you haven't seen the movie, cover your ears. But we finally get Gogeta on the big screen, and it was epic. They do a lot of fan service because we get the fusion mistakes. We get a lot of stuff with Piccolo. You know, we just get everything basically in this film, and that's what makes this movie really great for anybody that enjoys Dragon Ball Z. There's a lot of movies that are out there that you can say Dragon Ball is not that good. Like Bio Broly, I liked it. I wouldn't say it's the best. Broly: The Second Coming, I also would say it's not the best one, but it was entertaining. Like the legendary Super Saiyan movie, I really enjoyed that. I watched that so many times, but this one definitely, for me at least, tops it. Although we did get more characters on that one. We have like Gohan, we had Trunks, and Krillin, you know, we didn't have any of that. We were really isolated to a small amount of characters, and that's what like made this movie go by really quick. Like once the movie ended, I was like, what the hell, like, I want more. And let's talk about the ending, because I think that's where like maybe my only flaw is, which is not a major flaw, it's more of a nitpick, is that once a fight starts, it never ends. Like it just goes on and on and on, and like it you can kind of tell when we're reaching the end because things start to like go by super quick. Like the whole thing with the Dragon Balls, summoning Shenron and making the wish, it happens all super quick. So once it's over, you're kind of like, oh shit, the movie's about to end. So you're like, I kind of want more. But I do like what they do with the ending. Of course, Goku being Goku, you know, he wants to better himself, he wants to be stronger. So he kind of goes and visits Broly at this planet where he grew up or whatever, with his two new characters. And I like what he says at the end. He's like, is it okay if I come visit you from time to time so I can fight Broly? And I was like, shit, I can't wait to see what they do next with Broly, because, you know, Broly's power is unstable. And honestly, I feel like Goku can help him control that power. So if anything, maybe in the future, we're probably gonna see a team up between Goku and Broly, which would be freaking fantastic. I don't know if Broly is so forgiving about Vegeta, because Vegeta's dad basically threw him out into this planet for dead. So I don't know, we'll see what happens next. But yeah guys, those are my thoughts on it. If I was gonna give you a rating, guys, honestly, I don't know. I probably have to watch the movie more than once, but I loved it. I would give it a perfect score, but like I said, I feel like the animation at some points, it kind of gets dumbed down because they kind of save it up for like the fighting sequences. Some of the fighting sequences themselves are freaking insane with the inclusion of like CG. Like they do a fantastic job. It felt real, and I was like, oh my god, I can't freaking wait for more. But with all that said, guys, I'm gonna give this one a 4.8 out of 5. Like, I want to give it a perfect score, but I'm not there yet. Maybe if I watch it with multiple viewings. But hey, I don't know. Like I said, this is my favorite movie of 2019 already. I know I haven't seen a lot of movies, but dude, like this is definitely gonna make it on my top 10. If it doesn't, then something's wrong with me, or movies in 2019 definitely stepped their game up. So if you guys haven't watched it, make sure you check it out. I might do a video on Bird Box, still don't know yet. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at FMO1126 and Instagram at FMO1126_YouTube. And as always, guys, stay tuned.